What's up, Pirates? Ray Talks here, back with another video. Today, we're going to be going over how I performed at my locals with VIVI and showing off the deck list. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. For starters, we have 4 Otama. This just works really well with the rest of the deck. Not only is it a 2K counter, it works with cards like, for example, Robin. It works with cards like Pell, cards like Marco. It's just an insane card that can get you some value and some spots where you wouldn't be able to previously, just because of that minus 2000. And so this is kind of a staple in this deck. I think you should always run 4 of. So we have 4 Otamas to start off this deck list. Great 2K option as well. Then we have 4 Sanjis. There we go. 4 Sanji. So we have 4 Sanjis, and the reason why we run 4 Sanjis is it is a searchable 2K, right? Because obviously we're in the talk about the Nami here in a second. It's a searchable 2K, and there's decks where or there's matchups, I should say, where you kind of want to rush your opponent down in terms of like how to win the matchup. So like, for example, Katakuri in certain situations, and especially Rebecca. This is a great card to play. Like if you're going second against Rebecca, obviously you want to go ahead and play this right away, because Rebecca's tend to starve you. They don't want to give you cards while they set up. So searchable 2K and a great tech card for a lot of matchups. So we have the 4 Sanji there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and go with the Nami. Not much to say about this card. Everyone knows what it does. Searchable for Straw Hat Pirate. Insane value. There's so many good cards that you can get with this, including Red Rock, believe it or not. So yeah, I mean, you just run 4 of. You want to find something, you can go ahead and search with the Nami. Kind of find what you need, and not only that, it gives you a small body on the board, because you have a lot of attack power minus effects in this deck. And so if you have this on board and you minus 3000 on a 5K body, and now it's at 2K, you can go ahead and just swing with the Nami for free value. We're gonna go ahead and do 1 Robin as our tech card. Playing this instantly at 3 Dawn or 4/3 Dawn, giving it rush for 2, and then attaching 1 allows you to swing with this and KO a 3K off rip. Right now, imagine there's a later turn, or imagine you have a Chaka on board, and you can do a little fancy schmancy here, kill a 6K like on one of the earlier turns. We're gonna go ahead and rock 2 Brook. The reason why we're running 2 Brook is this card just has an insane amount of value. Your opponent does definitely want to try to target this card and not let it live on the board, but yeah, this card here gives you insane value, makes your weenie units that you have played previously just get so much value, because it reduces your opponent's character's power. And then we're going to go ahead and run 4 Marco. This is such a good staple card. It just never leaves the field. Not only that, it KOs let me turn on this light here. 3,000 or less on play. Obviously, everyone knows what that card does. Insane card. Here is another staple in VV. Another staple would be Chaka. Chaka, Dawn ×1 when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000, then KO a 0 power or less. And so this here is just such an insane card. It has so much value. And the fact that you can play multiple and then swing on the turn it's played is just insane, right? So a good clear. This gives you insane board control. Definitely a 4 of. I'm running choppers. I've tried a couple lists. Chopper has been feeling the best for me. It allows your late game to thrive, basically, unless in certain matchups where they kind of clear these for free. So like if they get Fire Fisted or something. But regardless, if you have a nice board and you're trying to set up lethal, you swing your big board and then you drop 2 of these maybe, and they're searchable. These choppers get you out of funks for sure, and protect your units that are already on board. So we're gonna go ahead and show off starter deck Nami. I would like to run more of these, but I'm limited on the amount of Dawn Times cards. We'll go over how many once I finish the deck list. But yeah, starter deck Nami, you play it, and then activate main once per turn. You can give one of your characters a rested Dawn, so or leader. Then we have 4 Doflamingo. The reason I'm running 4 Doflamingo is, like, not only is it another blocker, it allows you to have a better start to your match, and it allows you to find cards that you wouldn't previously be able to. You know, if you need a red rock, you pop a Doflamingo blocker, you see a red rock in the top 5, boom, put it at the first card, and now you know for next turn you can get rid of that annoying big body that your opponent played. So that is simple there. King, I'm running 2 kings. This card, not terrible. It's a 1k counter at the end of the day. On play, draw 1. It's a 7 drop, 8,000. The reason I'm running this card is because if you go first on turn 4 when you're at 9 Dawn, it's so easy to just go ahead, play this. You start your turn, you draw a card. You play this, you draw another card, and then you leader effect onto this. So now it has rush, and you draw a 3rd card. So it's pretty insane. It gives you a lot of value. You know, and a +3 card swing on 1 turn is also, you know, very useful. Let's go ahead and continue here. Obviously, for defensive events, we got 1 rad beam. Not much to say there. I definitely was debating on that, but yeah, I mean, it's worth it. It's rad beam, right? So then we have bad manners, 0 drop event. It gets rid of, you know, one of our bricks if we have a brick in hand, such as this Chaka, or like a chopper blocker, right? Sometimes we're stuck with cards that we don't need in hand, and we can go ahead and use that there. Next up, we have 4 happiness punch. This card is pretty insane. A lot of the times, people don't realize that this lasts for the turn. Like, unlike rad beam, you get 4,000 for 1 attack. Happiness punch, you give -2,000 to one character and then -1,000 to another character, and you can double up on the same character. So for instance, if you're versing a law and you know they're going for a double swing, -3,000 on that one character, now that double swing is ineffective unless they attach Mordon, which would probably not be ideal. So happiness punch also gives you the opportunity to give, if you know, like you're versing a Zoro and they're going to swing 5,000 a bunch of times, you can -2,000 to one swing, -1,000 to another character, right? So like, let's say Zoro swinging 6k, -2,000 to the Zoro, and then give one of their buggies or one of their Dodons or whatever their, you know, weenie bodies have -1,000, and now you just paid 1 Don and you just got out of 2 attacks. And so this card here is very underrated. I'm definitely running 4 of every time. Next up, we have 3,000 Worlds. We're just going to be running 2 of those. You know what they do. Bottom deck of 5 cost or lower. Great for removal. Against Whitebeard, against Katakuri. Honestly, any deck. Rebecca. This is just one. You know, these are the best removal cards in the game. Then we have 3 red rocks. We're kind of more worried about the bigger bodies, because between our Marcos, our Chakas, Robin, you know, things like that, we can definitely get rid of the smaller bodies. And so that's why we're only running 2 3,000 Worlds, and we're running 3 red rocks. I mean, we have 2 Mihawks. 2 Mihawks for sure, because there's turns where you actually have a better board state than you believe, and you can just drop one of these and just get rid of one of their 7 drop units, which is a huge swing turn. And then obviously you can keep one down up if you're at 10 for like a happiness punch or a rad beam and stuff like that. And then we have 2 Pels. 2 Pels is going to finish off this list. 2 Pels is another card that you can combo off of with the Otamas, the Brooks, things of that nature, the Chakas. So all these cards here are just combo cards, and you know, Pels take advantage, the Nico Robins take advantage, the Marcos take advantage. So there's so many combos here in this deck, a lot of removal. But definitely this is the list for now. Sorry, it's a little messy. This is what we're going to be running today at the locals. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into some gameplay. Let's go ahead and show off game 1. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go into game 1, Katakuri versus VIVI. I want to start off by saying it was very hard to come up with the VIVI list. There is not much information online. There's a lot of different, like super different lists, and not a single like cookie cutter like meta deck, right? So meta decks really have, you know, a standard kind of deck, and then, you know, a lot of tech cards that you can try out and stuff like that. VIVI, on the other hand, had like completely different deck lists that did decent. So it was kind of hard to find one. Anyways, go ahead and go right into this game. To start off, I play Sanji turn 1. It's yellow. I have to rush yellow. If he, you know, stalls too long, I kind of just lose. That's how VIVI is. So then my opponent turn 1 goes pudding searches and then swings 8. I go ahead and take. And then now it is my turn 2. We have 4 Dawn. I'm not sure what my best option here was. I know I didn't have a 4 drop in hand at the time to play, which would have helped a lot. I end up just going dropping a Sanji, using the rush on one of the Sanjis, or not rush, but using the effect. You know, trying to get him to drop. I go ahead and VV effect the Sanji, draw another card to take another life, swing at another 7,000, and he takes. So at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, not bad. He's at 3 life, and he's barely going to turn 3. I'm like, super good. And then he throws away 2 10 moms. I'm like, perfect. Even if it does get to late game, he won't have 10 moms. Unfortunately, he got a Shirahoshi trigger, which is going to come back to bite me. Turn 3 for my opponent here. He is now at 5 Dawn. And, you know, honestly, maybe I was a little too aggressive with the Sanjis to start. He goes 7 at one of the Sanjis, which I'm totally fine with. No point in blocking that. He plays a Sanji blocker and passes. So, first off, you know, I have a lot of cards in hand, but my board is really underdeveloped. And we kind of have to change that. There's, you know, one thing that Vivi needs, and it's honestly a full board. Otherwise, she, you know, just can't win, right? Your leader can't attack. And so now it is my turn 3. I'm at 6 Dawn. I'm honestly debating what I want to do here. I had a couple of options. You know, so some of these turns were not easy. Like, you know, I obviously you can see my hand. I have I think it's a 3,000 worlds or a red rock. I'm not sure, but what I end up doing is I just play a brook, I play a chopper, and I pass. I'm not sure if that was the right turn. I wish I had a Marco in hand. I definitely would have just Marco the Shirahoshi, passed, but you know, can't always get the perfect hands. So he goes 7 at life. I was like, you know what? I probably want to block that. I'm at 2 life. Don't want to use 2 cards here. So he drops a Pero on board, 6 drop vanilla, and then he decides to swing with the Sanji, which kind of hurt. I definitely had a card in hand I wanted to use. That was a 1K. So I definitely did not feel good. In his mind, he's like, okay, well, he has a Brook on board. He can probably kill the Sanji, which I think I could have. I think I could have this turn coming up, giving the Sanji -2 and then swinging a -3,000 KO, like a Chaco or a Pell, or even a Robin. And so, yeah, he did the right play by swinging there. And then, you know, obviously, as you can see how long I'm taking to think, I really had a crucial decision to make. I think it was between a Nami search and a 7-drop king, which I ended up going with the 7-drop king only for the fact that he is going to be at, how much Dawn was it? 9 Dawn his next turn. He was going to be at 9 Dawn. And so if I played the 7 king, he goes Katakuri, top or bottom life's the 7 Katakuri, or the 7 king. I can't speak. Anyways, I red rock the Pero, and then I end up, I think I attach one to Brook here. Yeah, swing at the Sanji, giving it -2,000. So kind of clear his board there. And then I end up going for another Sanji swing, putting him at 2 life. Now the worst part is yet to come. I feel like this is where the match starts to turn. I feel like if he doesn't have 8 Katakuri here, it's a lot easier for me to develop a board next turn and then try to go for lethal. He goes 7 at the Brook. I have no Dawn up, don't have no 2Ks in hand, so I'm forced to take that. He goes Katakuri, puts a Shirahoshi on top, which honestly hurt. It honestly hurt. That gives him enough stall to just, you know, keep the game going on long enough to where he doesn't have to worry about dying. And now I'm in a rough spot. Obviously, my hand is really big because I've been drawing. But at the end of the day, I don't have a board, so I can't really compete. All right, as you can see, I go ahead and do Pale into a VV effect and give it Rush. I swing 7 at lead and KO the Pudding. Now my opponent is debating on what he wants to do. Obviously, he has a giant hand. He goes and blocks out the 7K swing. Doesn't want to use that Shirahoshi trigger just yet. And at this point, I'm in a rough spot, right? I have 2 Dawn up. I have a Sanji. And it's time to go on defense mode without, you know, ever threatening lethal here. And as soon as you're on the back foot like this, there's not really much you can do. All my momentum's gone. I go ahead and swing 7 with Sanji again because I'm like, you know what? At this point, it's probably the best I could do is get him to 2 life. Um, hopefully build a board and try to go for lethal while I can hopefully survive. That's what I was thinking. I probably played this a little wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I had maybe 4 hours of practice throughout the week with VIVI. I had a busy week, so I wasn't able to actually practice much. And then, as you can tell, my starting hand wasn't the greatest. Definitely wanted a Chaka or a Pell a lot earlier on. Wasn't able to hit them. So my opponent swings. What he swung? 5? He swung 6. Oh, he swung 5 at the Sanji. I'm gonna take that. No point wasting resources. And then he goes Katakuri into the Shirahoshi top life again. And you guys should know by now, at this point, this game is over, right? Another Katakuri to stall kind of is ruining my game plan going into it. Obviously, I want to rush down the Katakuri. Him having, those 2 Katakuris to top life the Shirahoshis again, just gave him all, everything he needed. So I'm going to do a little bit of mental math, debate what I want my turn to be, because I still want to have a pretty decent turn. But then again, I don't want to die, right? So I have to take account exactly what I'm going to leave up for defense, make sure I won't die, and then maximize my output for, my offensive side on my turn. As you can see here, I go ahead and drop a Dofi. Kind of just want to see what I'm going to be able to get, because I'm obviously going to VV effect here. I have a Chaka in hand, so I'm thinking do a little combo where I can Otama the Katakuri. I can Chaka the same Katakuri, and then I'll use Pell effect and KO one of those Katakuris for free. So it's rough. It's real rough. Honestly, there's nothing to say here. You guys can see the board state. Katakuri has 3 lives with the Shirahoshi trigger showing. I'm at 0 life. A pretty weak board besides the Pell and Chaka. He Amandes rests my chopper to make matters worse. At this point, I'm not really sure if I even see any winning lines or any lines at all. I'm kind of just in awe. I didn't expect to do this bad this first match, but it happens. Maybe if I continue playing this deck, I could do a little better. But at the end of the day, this is VIVI. VIVI is not a tier 1 deck. If you're going to play VIVI in any competitive setting, just know you're playing from the back foot the whole time. VIVI not being able to attack is just a hindrance. And the support cards for blue and red mesh together just don't have what it takes to compete with some of these other decks, such as Whitebeard. I think VIVI might have a solid matchup spread against Whitebeard, but like into Law, it's just gonna get crushed. Into maybe you get the nuts against Law, but like it's just gonna get crushed. Katakuri's gonna crush it. Like there's just so many things. So yeah, here's me kind of trying to do some math again, trying to maximize my output while minimizing the damage I'm gonna take. I have 4 or 5 cards in hand at this point. I'm just playing to, maybe my opponent makes a crazy mistake and gives me the victory somehow. But now his hand, he still has 5 cards in hand, so there's no way I'm getting through it. And at that, I only have 3 swings available. I need to hit him 4 times in order to win. So kind of just stalling out here. No point in me really trying to do anything else. It's just it was a tough match. It was a tough match. You guys saw. Maybe I could have played some turns different, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure if the outcome was going to be any different. He really just got a Shirahoshi off the top of this trigger. I wasn't able to KO it in time, and so he just Katakuri'd it to the top, blocked the hit, took it, Shirahoshi triggered again, made sure I wasn't able to KO it after playing it, and then, did the same thing twice and stalled out the game long enough to where just, he had a smooth sail. So I was able to Chaka one of the Katakuris to 5,000, and I swung 6. He blocks out of 2. So at this point, I'm just counting up, making sure I have everything right. I'm going to Otama that same Katakuri, bring him down to 3,000, and then I'm going to attach 1 onto Pel. Actually, I attach 4 onto Pel. I swing 10 at the other Katakuri while KOing the Katakuri that was at 4,000 or 3,000 power. And then, yeah, obviously he's just going to block out here. He's going to do 2Ks. He probably didn't want to do that, but he knew he needed to keep it alive just to go for game and make it easier. Then I swing at the pudding, KO it, and I pass. At this point, he does a little bit of math, realizes I have 5 cards, 2 Dawn up, knows that I already used a Rad Beam, so he just puts 15 and swings away, knowing he still had an AK in hand. So I go the best I can, which was 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a brick. So I went up to about 14 and he swung 16. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to game 2. We're versing a Law. I am 0-1 at this point. This Law matchup would have been a lot different, but as you guys are gonna see here very quickly, my opponent did make a slight mistake. So turn 1 I passed, turn 1 he passed, turn 2 I went Chaka. And then now it is his turn 2. Let's go ahead and see what he does. So he plays a Zoro. We're going to get into the misplay here in a sec. So I am at 5 down now. This is turn 3. We go 3. We play a Doflamingo blocker. You know, kind of just want to search, see what we can get. Order it up, making sure I have, you know, exactly what I want and what I need. And then afterwards, I'll point it out here as soon as it happens. But yeah, so far, I mean, the Chaka's not bad. I wish I had a card to reduce, like an Otama would have been pretty helpful here. Actually, no, it wouldn't have. He attached the Dawn onto the Zoro, making him a 6,000 body. If he was a 5,000, I would be able to clear. But here goes my opponent's misplay, which kind of shaked up the whole game a little bit. So he swings 5,000, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, I'll take. He plays Robin, but forgets to play... forgets to pay the 3 Dawn for the Robin. So he pays 2 for 2 blockers, and then he pays another 2 for Bonnie, searches 5, grabs a card, and then he still has 2 Dawn. He's thinking he's going to shambles, but he forgot to pay the 3 for the Robin. So, and then he goes shambles, and he's just, you know, going crazy. But I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So we take a little break. I'm like, wait, I was like, what just happened? And he's like, wait, no. He's like, no, I already played this Robin. Regardless, he definitely used way more Dawn than he had available, and so he already searched the card, he already shambles, and so at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know how to go about this. Like, I probably should have had him get the 4 cards on the bottom, put them back on the top, or just put that card on the bottom and all the other 4 on the bottom, and then just like took everything back and had him replay it. But obviously he just put the restand Law on top of the deck, and it kind of just shifted the whole, honestly, it shifted the whole match. It probably would have been a little bit better, but you know, that's fine. Mistakes happen. And so let's just go ahead and get right back into it. This one definitely does not last as long as the last one. All right, at this point, you know, it's not looking too good for me. Again, like I haven't took a single life from the Law, but that's low key what you want to do. You kind of want to starve them and just, you know, play board control. I wish here I had another Chaka, which would be nice. So I just go Otama on the Robin, and then I play Marco to KO the Robin, which was probably my best play. I mean, I could have swung with Chaka instead of playing the Otama, but then I don't get a KO with either of them, right? I needed to do something, and so I just developed board and KO'd something. But he just goes Bonnie. He goes ahead and grabs a Law blocker, which you definitely don't want to see. He goes Chopper blocker into Beige blocker, which we knew he had, and then he definitely so he swings 5, and then he is going to definitely shambles here. So let's see what the sequence he does is. So he goes 5 with Zoro, which is fine because he's going to shambles it back and then grab the Bonnie and then replay the Zoro. So he goes 7, and I'm going to block that. Don't want to go below 2 because Law will just, obliterate me. And then he does that. He ends up swinging. At this point, my hand was full of bricks, so it's kind of hard to let that one go. Now I'm in a rough spot. He has 2 blockers up. The Chaka can KO one of the blockers pretty freely, but so there we go. I pop a Brook as counter to block out the 5k Zoro swing, and then he passes turn. So now it is my 10 on turn. He has a full board. I have 2 life and a handful of bricks. So, I had a couple options, but the one I went with, I had a 9 Don, but the one I went with was Red Rock, the Law blocker, just to get a guaranteed unit off of the board. I used the starter deck Nami effect on the Chaka, give him a Don, so, allows him to activate his effect. So I KO a Chopper, giving a minus 3,000, and KOing is 0 power or less, and then I swing at the 5,000 power Zoro. And so he now has to block something. He either has to counter or let it go or block. So he goes 2k. Now I have 3 down left. I need to play defensive. I do not want to lose. So I just go another 6 at the Zoro. He ends up blocking it. And then I go play VIVI effect to draw 1. And then I play a Chopper for blocking. Some block power. I thought I was in a good position. But I really needed to have like maybe another Chaka or a Pell, something extra to be able to clear, or maybe play that Brook that I threw away as counter. Maybe I could have played that Brook to combo off the Chaka. The little things here and there that I definitely could have changed up. So he plays an Otama and swings 5 at my Chaka. I have no means to keep that thing alive, so I go ahead and just let it go. Not much to do. But yeah, as you can see here, the Law is going to go for a shambles play here after swinging big. He's going to put me at 0 life. And there's not much else I could do. I'm going to be honest. He still has 4 life. He's in no danger of losing. He's going to put me down to 1 life here. VIVI is definitely a hard deck to play, at least in my opinion. Obviously I didn't have a lot of experience with it. I do go on to lose this match. I'll just let it play out while I do the outro. I did enjoy myself playing this deck. I wish I could have spent more time on it. I can make a more refined list. I can play more to learn more matchups, small little things that you wouldn't notice unless you actually, put a lot of effort and time into playing the deck. But at the end of the day, this is a leader that isn't tier 1, and most of the time, especially me, because I'm trying to play competitively, I can't, put a lot of resources into a deck like this to try to become the best at this one deck, because I'm trying to win. And so, especially with the online regionals coming up this Saturday, which I 100% am going to be playing in this time. I want to give myself the best chance, and playing VV is just not it. And I like these things because it allows me to, play something different, get off meta, go to the locals, and just, have some fun. Don't really got to stress about always keeping it too competitive. And, playing casual, honestly, is sometimes the most fun One Piece that you can play. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I ended up going 0-2, and then the third round we had uneven pairings. We didn't have even number of participants today, so I got a bye round for round 3, and then no game to show for it. But yeah, I had fun. Next week for our locals, the poll is up now, so you guys can go vote. It looks like either Nami is going to win or Black Luffy, so I'll keep my eye on that. We'll be doing that for next week. That one should have a lot better results. But regardless, guys, thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed some of this gameplay. I know I'm not the best VV player and didn't showcase this leader to its full potential, so I do apologize there. But I did try my best, and I did put in a good amount of effort into learning some of the combos you can do with this deck. But for the most part, I had fun, and I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like this video, comment down below. what the next leader you would like to see is. We're going to be doing these polls weekly. Subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 1,000 for that awesome giveaway. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.